What's happening, everybody? Steve here, Cars with Steve, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the steering wheel buttons and the instrument cluster inside of the 22 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Going to be going over everything, so how to use all the different buttons, paddle shifters, and how all of this fun stuff works. So let's dive into it, have a little bit of fun, and see what's going on. Next up, let's take a peek at the steering wheel of the vehicle. So this is going to be a dive in deep to let you learn about everything that's going on. So starting off on our left stick along the very top, we can figure out what's going on with our running lamps. So I always recommend just keeping it on the auto setting. And the big reason why is because the vehicle is going to determine if we should be in the daytime or the nighttime running lamps, depending on how bright it is outside. We can easily flash our high beams there as well if we need to. We can lock them out. Stick on the right hand side is going to control the speed of our windshield wipers. We can easily turn those ones on or off as necessary there as well. We're just going to pull in towards us in order to get that wiper fluid going. Now, this vehicle also does have paddle shifters, which is definitely a nice touch, and we don't actually have to be in any special mode in order to be able to use them. So as we're driving along, we can literally just plus or minus to give ourselves a little bit more power to kind of boost us forward a bit more if we need to. Now, buttons along the left-hand side. So let's kind of start off with the left pad there. So a button along the very top left is actually going to be for our voice control prompt. There we go, voice control prompt. So that lets us do things like change songs, radio stations, make phone calls, things like that, strictly using our voice. So it's definitely a nice touch. We do have a mode button there, and that's going to let us, so I actually swing out to the side there. So as you can see, it can do a few different things. So this is actually one that's going to cycle through our active sources for our audio. We can select whatever sources it's going to navigate through, so you've got some flexibility as to which ones it's going to go through. We've got our volume rocker, so we can either increase or decrease the volume there. And we've also got the option of going between different presets. So we can kind of move this up or down to go through different presets. We can literally press and hold as well in order to be able to seek to a different station that way. We can answer or hang up on a phone call. And then we've also got another unique button that we can press in order to do certain things. So we can have it cancel routes, we can have it go into privacy mode, reject calls, have our voice memo come out, and a number of other things. So we can kind of set up a uniqueness for this actual button for what we'd more or less like it to do. Looking along the right-hand side, we've got a little button there, and this one is going to let us jump between different pages in that middle screen. So let's kind of zoom in a tiny little bit to see what's going on. There we go. So as you can see, we go between different pages. So let's kind of go up and down. So we can literally use this one in order to move up and down, and then we press the OK button. So we literally press this button in order to be able to reset things. So as you can see there, we've got a break, and that's reset. Moving down, we can hold OK in order to go into different settings as well. Now we press the page button to jump into the next page, and as you can see there, we've got our drive info, our info since refueling, accumulated info, and then our digital speedometer, which is actually kind of ironic because this whole thing is digital, but if you prefer to look at that digital speed instead of the traditional analog, you've got that option. And same thing, in order to be able to reset, we just press this OK button in. As you can see there, it just resets everything out for us. So it is very, very simple. We've got our compass there, and one of the cool things is that if we had navigation going, it would actually show up in the middle. So I'll actually show you what that looks like because we go to our map for a second there. And let's just go to an address. Look at this. Calculating. And it tells us after we hit start guidance.
Will start now.
So look at this. It lets us know exactly where we need to go in order to get to our route. So I love that we've got that option there. Moving back, so as you can see there, it kind of jumps us up in between. So we've got either the compass or the direction we should be going, as well as how long until we hit our destination. Next over, we've got a few different options so we can see exactly what's going on with power between wheels because we are in the all-wheel drive version of the vehicle. And then we've also got our tire pressure, which we have to be driving in order for that to show up. But that's going to be the basics of these pages. Next one over, this button is actually going to be for our smart cruise system, so the adaptive cruise control system. So what we're going to do is while we're driving, we're going to push this button in, and that's going to turn the system on. And then once the system's turned on, we're going to set it by going up or down, and then we can increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. So the smart cruise system, what that one's going to do is if you have it set, let's say at 100 kilometers an hour on the highway, if the vehicle in front of you slows down, yours is automatically going to brake. If they pick up speed or get out of the way, it'll pick you back up to your set speed again. So it's a really smart system there. If for whatever reason you kind of freak out, don't think the vehicle is going to stop, you can hit the brake and then you can just push this button in the middle in order to resume your set speed. This one is our distance indicator. So how close or how far are we away from the vehicle that's in front of us? And then lastly, we've also got this lane centering button. So the lane centering button is an interesting one because we've actually got a lane keeping system that technically works 2 different ways. Way number 1, with the base system activated, it almost works like a bowling lane. So if the vehicle senses that we're veering into another lane without signaling, it's just going to gently pull us back into our lane. On the other hand, with this actual lane centering button, what this one's going to do is, if it recognizes the actual the lane markings, it's going to literally steer for us. So you do technically have to keep your hands on the wheel. You're going to get a message on the screen otherwise, but it'll literally take you around bends. So it is exciting to know that this is more or less where this self-driving technology is going to be starting from with these basic systems. Now, this is going to be the ultimate package in Canada, and then it is the luxury package in the US. So you do have to be in certain packages to get the adaptive cruise control or that smart cruise control system, but it is there as an option. And that's going to be the basics of the steering wheel as well as the instrument cluster. So that is kind of nice, right? I love the smart cruise control system, how there's that lane centering system in there as well. And I do absolutely love the digital cluster inside of this thing. So it is available optionally, so inside of those higher options, the higher trim levels, I should say, but it does give it a beautiful, beautiful look. If you ran into any problems though, you have any questions, drop down in the comment section below and let me know. I'm more than willing to talk you through any problems that you might be having. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your social networks. And until I see you next time, take care.